So welcome to another Callie video. I usually play with Callie maybe, I would say, once or twice a month, usually if it's raining or I don't have time to ride or something like that. So I just started the video camera there and we'll bring Callie in. Callie and I started playing at Liberty by accident one day, which was the arena was full and I didn't have whatever equipment I wanted, so I went to the round pen, asked her to go around. She went really fast. I interpreted kind of that she was anxious, and I thought, what happens if I ask in a smaller way? And I thought maybe she would go around me at a slower gait. She interpreted it differently in that she went around me at a shorter distance. And then I took her to the arena right away and she did the same thing, and so that was the beginning of playing at Liberty with Callie. I don't know if you just saw there, I just looked at her hindquarters. I just wanted to straighten her up a little bit there. But everything you see us do, I would say we just kind of made up our own cues. We don't really have any formal training or anything like that. So Callie's free to do whatever Callie wants to do. I just asked her to canter around me. You probably can't hear since I'm doing this voiceover, but I lift my hand, and if I want more speed to the canter, or I don't think she saw my hand, I'll kiss to her. And when I want her to come in, I'll look at her hindquarters, and she came in. This is where I ask her to spin her hindquarter towards me, and then I'll ask her to side pass towards me, and I'll ask her to stretch out a little bit. I used to have a big Texas flag I borrowed from a friend, but I couldn't find that, so I'm just playing with things that I have at hand. These are all things that she knows, and you can't really hear it since I'm doing the voiceover, but that's a really loud lunge whip. I don't know if you can see, but if you look, you can see that she's still chewing. So I use the treats in this case not as a reward, but as a way to tell what is her level of anxiety. If she continues chewing while I would introduce a new thing, for example, then that helps me know that she's okay with things. If she were to stop chewing, I might need to spend a little more time on that area, perhaps. But I like to do all of my teaching with Callie at Liberty because she's free to come or go. You know, there's no like warm-up sessions before I turned on the video camera. This is just raw, unedited video with a voiceover. And that's the way I like it. I like to see, where is she at today? How connected can we be? And lately I started bringing out a brush. I thought, well, when she's in the middle there with me resting, I might as well get some brushing done. She stepped out of that stretch and I simply put her back, but then I'm going to ask her to go out of it as my idea, and then I'm going to send her on. You'll notice I send her on, but I made a mistake on, this is the same direction, so now I realize the mistake and I try to turn her around and ask her to go the other way, which she obliges me to do. So we're going to go around the other way. And at the end of the video, we'll look at the two new tricks Callie does. They're kind of modifications on other things. But basically, Callie's the first horse that I ever asked to come into my space. Other horses I usually always taught to stay away from my space. With Callie, and you'll see here, she messes up her side pass towards me, so I have to talk to different ends of the horse to get her to do what I'm asking. which she does for me. Interestingly, so Callie walking sideways towards me, you'll see, is always very good. If I ask her to walk sideways away from me without a halter on, see, there's no way to stop the front end from going forward. So 2 days ago, for the first and only time before today, I actually put my hand on her nose to stop the front end from going forward while she side passes away, and she picked that up the first time like that. There was no learning curve, she just did it. And the same for, I've already taught her the trick of spinning around and pivoting on one front leg towards me. And yesterday, or 2 days ago, for the first and only time before today, I actually placed my hand on the off side of her neck and gave her the cue to spin away. And today you'll see the second time she's ever done that, both sides. But basically, when I made up this trick, again, we don't have any training or education on this. This is just, you can make a cue to be whatever you want, and this is just kind of what I created. But you'll see when I ask the horse to spin towards me in a circle, I put my hand on the front leg that I don't want to move, and I want the other 3 legs to move. Callie girl was 6 years old this May. So I asked her to come over closer towards the camera so you guys can see. And I'm going to put my hand on the leg that I don't want to move. And you'll see the other 3 legs moving as she pivots on that front leg. And I'll reward that. So she already knew that. So what I'm about to do is the new thing, which is where I place my hand on the off side of the neck and look at her hind end and ask her to do the same thing but in reverse. So that's the second time she's ever done that. And that's one thing I've experienced, which is things kind of build on each other, and the more things you teach, the easier it becomes. So now we're going to go on the opposite side. I'm going to do both sides. And in this case, especially if it is a new thing I'm asking her, I do actually use the treat as a reward. You know, I would never use a treat as a reward if a horse was pushy or nippy or something like that. So what you're about to see is when I ask her to walk towards me sideways. This is not a new trick. This is something that I've always done with her. The new trick is right now, when I give her the cue to walk sideways and she doesn't walk forward anymore because my hand's on her nose. That's the second time she's ever done that in her life. And of course, we'll do both ways. So I'll ask her to go away from me. A lot of times I do prefer to give the treat on whatever move we're doing whenever she ends up coming back towards me instead of away from me, if that makes sense. I kind of make myself a great fun place to be. But Callie's nice and lets me play and do crazy things, it looks like. I try to point her to the camera and give her sugar there. So thanks for watching Callie's 2 new tricks. Hope you learned something. Feel free to comment and ask any questions.